Sasquatch, Yahoo, Phantom of the Forest, you Spearfinger, Fire Dragon, Ohio Grassman, Silver Giant, Bloodless Howler, West Virginia Vampire, Coyote King, Hogzilla, Devil Dog, Coyote Killer. Cave creature, Mothman, Smoke Wolf, a Lizard Demon, Ashman, Grafton Monster, Cow-killing Bastard, Shadow Creature, Dustman, Cherokee, Death Cat, Wild Man, Great Fire Rape. What else do I have to say? Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber. Catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the big feet. Snarly Gastro Team, Red Island Bear Beast, Silver Giant, Squalling Savage, Black Wolf was kind of average, Stone Giant, Raven Mocker, Midnight Whistler, Wampus Beast, Wawa Woman, Ohio Grassman again. Technically Huckleberry Wolfman or Wolf County, need to find the X again if we hunt the Lightning Man. Webster's Werewolf, Daily Howl, Kentucky Hellhound, Little Girl, Headless Horror, I can't take it anymore. Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber. Catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the Bigfeet.
This here's Bigfeets, the only real Mountain Monsters podcast. Look for the Bigfeet seal of quality on every episode. I'm Robert Brockway, and I carry my babies on my back like a possum.
And I'm Sean Baby. From the internet in 1990, I won the Qigong tug of war, standing on one leg. 66 people, Zug, Switzerland.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
Did you also defeat 66 men in a tug with a fucking Swiss tug of war on one leg?
Not 66, no.
What are you up to? I'm up to 28, but outside, the Swiss are strong, man.
Mm-hmm. It feels weird that nobody else knows Kung Fu in Switzerland.
Do you need that for tug of war, famously?
I feel like it's cheating, honestly. If you can take 66 people on one leg, I feel like that's got to be juicing, right? That's got to be like the equivalent of steroids in swimming or biking or something.
It's the blue belt test at a strip mall dojo.
If anyone wants something else to read while listening to this podcast, Google the guy who had his arms ripped off in a tug of war.
God.
Holy shit.
What is this podcast about? If you want something else to read, speaking of.
Yes, the new novel coming out in September is called I'm Starting to Worry About This Black Box of Doom. It is up for pre-order in all possible formats. And the question everybody keeps asking is this the book that's going to make you too famous to be on the Bigfeets podcast? I don't think so. I don't anticipate that. I'm a niche author. Unless it gets picked up by like that Reese Witherspoon book club or something like that, I can't see that happening. The next one, maybe, but...
I was just talking to Reese, and I was telling her about this book, and she was like, that sounds exactly like my thing. So, I mean...
if it does happen, we'll see you in court.
Yeah, because I'll have to have all of this scrubbed.
Like hell. Battle of the century. Sean, anything to plug today?
I would like to plug the fantastic comedy website, 1900hotdog.com. They do daily articles with all-star comedy writers. Just like the old days, they're written by humans, well-paid humans who care very much about their work. Go to patreon.com/1900hotdog to support it and this podcast, because this whole time, secretly, I have been the one behind 1900hotdog.com.
Gasp. I'd like to plug Dogzone 9000, which is our other mess around podcast, far less popular than this one, but we have fun with it. I think by the time this episode of Bigfeets is out, the episode that'll be out on the Dogzone is about DT and dog territory, which is an absolutely insane 15-minute long short sci-fi action film that the 1988 Cleveland Browns directed, wrote, and starred in for no reason, toward no end. It's not like promotional. It's not tying into anything. They just I don't know, really had a passion for recreating E.T., but with a little person in dog makeup, it's crazier than it sounds. There's a machine gun, like actual machine guns. There's the armies in it. It's fucking crazy. Go listen to that.
I think one of their offensive linemen killed a Martian with a sword.
It's fucking fantastic. Go listen to that. There's bonus episodes of that every single week where we play goofy games, and you can also support those through, you guessed it, patreon.com/1900hotdog. It all feeds back to there. And now we are done with our ads.
Well,
we can
just
get on to what
very quickly, that Patreon also funds this show. That's why there are no ads on here, and it does not cost you anything to hear it. So the only other funding, of course, comes from our friends at Loot Crate.
God damn it.
Enter offer code.
Loot Crate. Now a fuckable hole.
Yes, I know you think they went bankrupt 3 years ago because their business model was just shipping garbage to people for a monthly fee. Things you did not ask for, but they have turned the entire business back on just for us. Enter offer code Imprison Bigfoot's Toddler to get a free box of garbage.
I didn't even know that was a real one, but okay. I mean, as long as they're out of business, we don't have to do something legally actionable to make sure. So let's move on. We are a Mountain Monsters watch-along podcast. Mountain Monsters, if you are just joining us, don't do that. You can start listening from the beginning, and you will go on a magical odyssey with us, watching hillbillies invent storytelling and improv. It's like a Hillbilly X-Files, but a reality show. It's one of those ghost hunting shows where they're like, oh no, it was a spooky ghost. I heard like a knocking sound. Only instead of that bullshit, they pile out of a golf cart and fight Bigfoot within 5 minutes of every episode. And by the end of it, they're like bleeding and half naked because Bigfoot fucking whooped their ass. It rules. It rules. Our cast is Trapper. He's the leader. Huckleberry is Bigfoot Security. It's his actual title. Buck is the rookie. Jeff is our hillbilly research scientist who grows increasingly obsolete every single day. To his terror, he's aware of it. Willie is the actual Trapper, and Wild Bill is the problem we don't talk about. We are watching Mountain Monsters Season 2, Episode 5, Bigfoot of Clay County. We begin, as we always do, with Trapper's truck briefing, where the four main ones, Trapper, Huckleberry, Jeff, and Buck, are all piled into his super crew cab, talking about what this episode's going to be about. This time they're going after the Yahoo, which they have gone after, I think, twice before, but they seem to have forgotten about
the second time, yeah.
This is very strange because it appeared in episode 9 of season 1. That was the first Yahoo, and I remember distinctly when we recorded that and the first time we heard the sound the Yahoo made. But in the Grassman Revengeance, the season finale of last season, it was an entire huge plot twist that the Yahoo turned up on the scene, and the guy had a recording of it, or at least my memory says that. And then they never mentioned running into it a second time, so I don't know if they forgot. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I do know. Yeah, they forgot.
They forgot. Yes, you did.
What am I saying? Yes, they totally forgot. Could have
filmed them out of order, maybe? Like maybe they filmed this sometime last season? Because there are no, I don't want to spoil any lack of twists later, there's no second creature in this episode, which seems to be the theme of season 2, is that they go after a thing and, oh, surprise, also Bigfoot. Whereas this is just a pretty standard Bigfoot. So,
yeah.
If I'm being generous, this could be a chronological issue, not a memory issue.
Yeah, they promised at the start of this season, okay, you guys, we're dropping everything else and going after Bigfoot. And then every single episode for the first, 4 episodes was a different creature. It was a chupacabra and a hellhound, and it was funny every time where they're like, we're focusing just on Bigfoot this time, except I heard about a chupacabra. You know I gotta go get it. I gotta get that. You know I gotta get that chupacabra.
Now that I've heard Sean's theory that this is one they filmed and had in the can, I'm fascinated because now that I think about it, it's going to be a running thing in this episode, especially at the start, where the team is really not into it.
Yes, this episode fully sucks.
Several moments, don't say that. I'm going to call it several moments where it's a low energy episode. And I wonder if this didn't get canned and if they didn't decide they needed to plug it in. Because what you said, boy, I wonder if they didn't record this last last year or the year before. We'll see.
Well, the thing that they're good at, the thing that I genuinely do respect this show for doing, is always escalating, sometimes in bizarre and insane ways, but every episode, every season is just like, holy shit, I can't believe they're going for it. They don't land it, but they go for that jump every single time. And you're right, like, this seems like a step back. This would have been a great episode, and it is a great episode for, like, season 1, but, like, we're farther along than this,
you know what?
I think. I do agree with that.
I think I might be wrong just because Trapper won't shut up about the stupid Bigfoot clans, and I feel like that was something he invented very late season 1. That's his new passion. Yeah.
That's his new passion. And you're right, there's no way they don't have the technology to insert a clip into old film.
That's
like,
true.
they just film it and you get it.
Yeah.
They're going after the Yahoo. Trapper reminds us, we all remember that sumbitch from a year ago, and Buck gasps and goes, that thing was trying to kill us. They did try to kill it first, of course.
Yeah. Bigfoot, in the lore of the show, has been extremely peaceful.
Yes. Jeff reminds us that he is a tree thrower.
Definitely
he is
a tree thrower, yeah.
And he's 7.5 to 10 feet tall. We do our CGI thick cryptid thigh check here. He does, I will give him this, he has dark, luxurious thighs that it would be an honor to die between. But aside from that, this is crazy. There's definitely a new CGI artist. Like, our main boy is gone. This is wholly different. He's got like a Marvel body. He's fucking ripped, which I don't like, but he also has huge, sparkly anime eyes full of hope.
Fair description.
The first sign that maybe this episode had been kind of thrown together is Trapper goes on his rant and says, 7.5 feet, 9, 10 foot tall, 800, maybe 1,000 pounds, reddish, blonde hair, sometimes black. He has no mental image at all of which monster there. He cannot remember what he described the Yahoo as looking like the last time, and just says every weight, every height, and every color that exists.
Every color. It is anywhere between 2 to 4 shacks. It looks like a RuneScape gorilla, I guess is what I had in my notes. It really is. You talk about anime eyes, but it just feels like 4 generations ago CGI monster.
Yeah, it's
better
definitely
than season 1, but like worse in a different direction. It's like you can tell the technology is better, but the person using the technology is terrible.
Yeah,
in a
like if
different
you
way.
go into the sub menus of like an obscure Japanese RPG and you find like the bestiary, you'll be like,
Yes.
oh, this is the model that they put in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just like that we're so in sync these days that I also wrote the exact words 2 to 4 shacks within the body of one shack. Like it's officially like how
if Shaquille O'Neal swallowed himself and then a third Shaquille O'Neal swallowed that's the midpoint of what they're estimating.
There is an entire shack in leeway here, though. Like Jason's right. Trapper has no idea. You should never have a whole shack's worth of leeway just in life. That's just wrong.
I realize they don't have the technology to do this, but I wish that while Trapper was talking, that the CGI model changed as he said his sentences. So that when he was like,
funny.
reddish blonde hair, sometimes black, 7.5, 10, 9, 10 feet tall, 800, maybe 1,000, 1,200 pounds. It just kept going, just flickering
warping around. Because they're very different things. If someone said they saw Carrot Top, he was 1,200 pounds with black hair, you'd say, no, I don't think that was Carrot Top.
But if they said 7.5 feet tall and 800 pounds with red hair, you're like, yeah, it could be.
Okay, that could be. You might have seen Carrot Top. That's kind of the theme of this show, is that he's certain it's the Yahoo, but there's not a single shred of evidence to suggest it's a Yahoo. And in fact, all of his theories get completely destroyed every time they talk to anybody.
So the last time they went after the Yahoo, it was only 40 miles away. So like within a year, he has not traveled far. He's just kind of lazing about. And we turn to Jeff. Remember, he's our hillbilly researcher. So it's time to drop that invaluable, like life-saving monster research. Like we need to get all of this thing's powers, all of its things.
He went to the ancient Shawnee tomes to find the secret weakness of the Yahoo.
That secret weakness is that Clay County was founded in 1858, and originally it was part of both Nicholas and Braxton County.
So he mentions that Clay County was the first place where golden delicious apples were ever grown in West Virginia. Now, some listeners are going to accuse Jeff, the real person, Jeff, the who plays Jeff in the show, as having simply gone to the Wikipedia page for Clay County, West Virginia. That is not where he got this from. He got it from the Clay County government website. If you go to claycountywv.us/explore, they have a collage of images. One of them has the exact word-for-word stuff about the two counties forming, and then another one has the thing about the birthplace of the golden delicious apple. And from that, they will decide that this creature only eats golden delicious apples.
It's crazy how much they play along with Jeff here. And Jeff, this should have been the biggest ball drop. Like, we're not determining if Bigfoot is eligible to vote in local elections, motherfucker. What are you doing? We don't need to know what flavor and brand of apples he prefers. But they play along with this so hard. Yes, we do. This is a very important plot point. The golden delicious apples.
Just talked about the invention of apple husbandry in 1860, and they're like, oh yeah, this could mean Bigfoot. Like the way they jump from apples to Bigfoot so instantly and unanimously. Incredible.
They really respected him for this. Like, if I was Trapper and he said that shit, I would have silently leaned over and opened his door and pushed him out of the moving truck. Like, that would have been, you would have never shown up in the show again. But they were like, fuck yeah, apples, let's go.
Also,
that's incredible.
As he keeps talking, he mentions that Clay County was named after Henry Clay, and they cut to an old, photograph, old-timey grainy photograph of Henry Clay as if he's a cryptid. And I was trying to figure out if he wasn't going to turn up in the episode somehow, the ghost of Henry Clay, because that's just as dumb as the apple thing.
Henry Clay, thick cryptid thigh check. Oh yeah, got them anime eyes.
Clay find waifu. My wife, Mrs. Henry Clay. They're like, wait a second, what did that Yahoo just say? I think that Yahoo might be former U.S. Senator Henry Clay.
Notorious for his love of golden delicious apples. My God. So Trapper says one thing about Clay County is this damn Elk River. I don't know why he's mad at the river. It runs right through it runs right through the middle of it. And I've always thought that these Bigfoot species use these rivers as travel routes. Since fucking when? Since when did you think that?
And
you've never
canoes?
Are they Huck Finning it down the rivers and paddle boats?
What are you picturing?
What is this? He pulls that shit out of nowhere and then it's just like, no, I love this. So like he sticks with it. It's great. Buck reminds us that we will know if it's the Yahoo immediately if we hear it scream. Because it again, I don't know if you remember that. If you've been with us, you remember the Yahoo scream, and it was just like a production assistant. It was cameraman Zach just out there giving it his all, going
Cold Straub.
Yeah, it was Cold Straub giving it the old woohoo. Jeff says, well, it sounds like Wild Bill, and they all laugh like it's a joke, but I take it back. It might have just been Wild Bill. Like it.
That's true.
He's right. He
That's
could have fucked that up.
I wonder if that was an in-joke, if that actually wasn't Bill that did their recording for because it was somebody on the crew.
Yeah.
Like it's a person.
It does make sense.
Who is most likely to just scream like that? It's Wild Bill. They didn't even tell him. Like he fell out of a tree. That's the noise he made when he fell out of a tree. And they're like, that sounds like fucking Bigfoot.
I wrote down Jeff's insane quote here where he says, I would compare the Yahoo scream to Wild Bill when he gets all puffed up and about rips his shirt out, and bellows when he says hoorah. I'm not sure that there isn't a Bigfoot called hoorah. So, and this is, by the way, this kills in the truck. They are dying. Trapper almost drives off the road from laughing so hard. So I don't know. Maybe he's calling Wild Bill a Bigfoot. Maybe this is a reference to Wild Bill recording that Yahoo sound. I don't know.
I'm going back through our theme song trying to think, is there a Bigfoot named Hoorah? Because they might have just gone with that. I mean, they're rolling with the apples thing. Jeff's on fire.
Now, I do want to introduce a new feature to the show, which is the equivalent of a swear jar, where we try to avoid saying something, and if we do it, then we have to put proverbial money in the jar. So anytime I think one of us implies that something they say is sexually charged, we should have to stop and put $1 in the implied that they're all having sex with each other jar. Because that's, for example, when talking about the method of attack, Trapper says, that son of a bitch will pick up a log and sling it at your ass. That's not sexual. Like, the fact that I feel like that's implying something, that's me. That's not him. That came from my brain. And that's because of where I was raised. That's the kind of jokes we laughed at when we were teenagers.
I did picture it when you said that. I pictured it landing directly in Trapper's butthole and then, like, thwanging back and forth like a Nerf dart. So, like, there's some imagery there.
That's erotic, yeah. Maybe not swear jar erotic. I'll allow it.
We already pay so much money for this podcast and take nothing in return. This is such a bad idea. So it's time to meet our first witness. It is Apple Farmer Al. But he fucking rolled with it, I'm telling you. He did not bring the requisite headgear, but he made up for it by standing the most awkwardly in a field any witness has ever stood. He's at the very edge of the field where it turns into the woods, and he's kind of standing with equal weight on both feet. Like, I'm gonna fucking bolt. I'm gonna bolt. Like, I'm here to meet a girl from the internet, and if she turns out to be 4 Bigfoot hillbillies in a golf cart, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
Also, they did not want any costume accessories to detract from the fact that he is packing heat. He has got a freaking giant revolver strapped to his hip like a cowboy.
And he does, I'll give him this. All right, so he's wearing glasses, and I will give him the head prop work he does with just glasses. He does the full, my God, glasses pull before he starts his testimony. He's just like, my God, you boys, I gotta tell you. Just, they were right. If you gave that guy like a skunk hat, it would be too much. It would be too much.
I feel like this guy's one of the worst overactors that they've had.
He is Charlton Heston.
He's bringing maybe too much to the role. I also don't think he wears the revolver that often because he's really self-conscious about it. But I also think that he's trying to play a coward, like someone who might pull his gun on a loud sound.
I think you're right. I think you're exactly right that he's playing like an insecure coward responding to this, because let's get to his story. So Al says he was out here one night picking apples with his migrant worker crew when he saw a black shadow against the apple tree, and with one giant hand it pulled down a branch, and with the other giant hand it was picking apples.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's it. Like, it did that, and then it ran away, and Al's like, fuck me, I'm never coming out here without a fucking Colt 45 ever again. That thing's eating apples.
The thing that struck him about this creature is that it walked away like it wasn't even afraid of little Al. And it was clearly bipedal, and I don't know what that means. But
it did flee. To be clear, it didn't threaten, it didn't bellow. Yeah. It came out here and ate apples. Like, you are led to believe when he's like, I was out here with my crews, like, we're supposed to worry about the crews. No, the stakes are the apples.
Also, they ask him, again, the Yahoo has exactly one feature, which is its yell. The fact that it throws logs at them, that's not unusual. If you remember, the xenomorph chucked a log at them. That's one of the few methods of attack that all of these creatures have in common, that even the ones that are not Bigfeet. So they ask him, Trapper tries to prompt him, now you know this creature we're after, it's famous for its yell. Did you hear that? And there's a weird edit, and it cuts back to Al saying, I did not. And it's edited in a way that it seems like maybe Trapper tried 5 or 6 more times to get him to say, are you sure? Because the entire point of this, all you've said is that you saw something eating apples and then it fled at the sight of you. We need to establish that this is the Yahoo, the creature that threw logs at us last time. Otherwise, we just look like a bunch of assholes. And they cannot get that out of him. I am fascinated by what a train wreck this episode is so far, from the truck briefing to this guy.
It's about apples. It might not be about the Yahoo.
So yeah, he does turn to the camera and say, this thing is 8 feet tall, 800 pounds, dark black fur. And in addition to all those things not being right for the Yahoo, he doesn't say Yahoo. So this is not the fucking Yahoo.
But Trapper once again theorizes not only is this the Yahoo, but he now has enough information to say this Yahoo is here because he got kicked out of his clan again. Every single time now, Trapper insists if there's a Bigfoot here, he's here because he's like a sexy drifter Bigfoot
This would
hitchhiking
explain
across America.
The Yahoo is trademarked, and if you're not in the clan, like you're not legally allowed to Yahoo as a Bigfoot.
It's almost like he's projecting something about. That makes me wonder if the rest of the Yahoos don't have a restraining order against him.
If their bitch ex-wife didn't fucking kick him out of the clan.
And I stuck out here stealing apples just to live.
Jealous of his cable TV fame and.
So this somehow, despite being, I think, negative information, is enough information to start the night hunt. It's happening right here in the orchard. It's an all-apple Bigfoot investigation. So they're back in the orchard, and it's
Hold
at
on,
night
I
now.
want to pause. I cannot believe you jumped over how Al asks them, what do I do now? And they're like, well, we're going to come back at night. Maybe we'll even try to catch him. And Al says, sounds like I called the right man. He is going to be so disappointed.
Just keep in mind those stakes, because what Al said is that he and his son are now afraid to come back out here to work these orchards. So this is now what's at stake: his livelihood, the safety of his family. So yeah, if they don't catch this thing,
3%, up to 3% of his apple crop is at stake. That's what we've established. I'm sorry, we're playing for apples here, like literally. So they're back in the orchard, and Trapper reminds us this is where he was. He was right there, eating them golden, delicious apples. And I don't know why, but they're going to do this throughout the episode, and it's so much funnier when you specify the type.
yes.
Like it has product placement from Golden Delicious Apples, the apples that give Bigfoot his screaming energy.
God, wouldn't that be amazing if that was a paid placement?
Like, what are they doing if not? You could just say apples, but they say Golden Delicious Apples every time.
If not stopped, this thing may eat $3-4 worth of apples over the course of the year.
So, all right. I guess we have to. Do we have to talk about Buck's joke?
Well,
I don't think we have to.
Is it even a joke? Because he basically effectively tells Jeff, "Hey Jeff, if you see any big Bigfoot turds on the ground, don't eat them."
He works so hard for this joke. He goes on the most tortured setup for that joke. He's like, "Okay, stay with me, guys. You remember? Okay, we hunted the Yahoo, and I think somebody said something about his poop, and we said it's the size of an apple pie. We might have said that. So if we said that, and you see like a big apple pie on the ground, Jeff, Jesus, Jeff, don't eat the apple pie." Like, it's the worst I've ever seen anybody tell a joke. Like he has to run 5 miles and he can't. So Jeff is told to eat shit and he accepts it, like it's a normal day. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll eat shit. That's fine. They tell us the terrain here, of course, is very unforgiving. And then Trapper immediately after reminds us, this is a fucking apple orchard.
It's a working apple orchard. What do you need the terrain to be for you to traverse it? You fat fuck.
Children literally pay $3 to frolic.
Yes. You go on a nice date here with your grandmother.
Very unforgiving apple orchard that you live in.
They also emphasized that the Yahoo, again, which is 10 feet tall and 1,200 pounds, could sneak up on them at any time, and they would, quote, never know he was there. Because they are expert hunters.
In this apple orchard.
In an apple orchard. How do you sneak up? If you're 4 shacks, how do you sneak up on a man in an apple orchard? Ridiculous.
I'm just saying, I think if I was playing hide and seek with 4 shacks in an apple orchard, maybe this sounds like bragging, I think I could find them all.
Yeah. I just like that they're in these an apple orchard, the trees are in straight lines. The shack would have to hide behind one tree and then like tiptoe around to hide behind the next tree, like down the line of trees to sneak up on them. It would be adorable. It would be the cutest way to die.
Be bent all the way to the ground. You'd be like, "Oh, Shaq, I got you," and he'd be like, "Hee hee."
It's also great that alternately Trapper will make it look like he is such an expert tracker and hunter that he has almost supernatural abilities to see a single broken branch or a single disturbed leaf on the ground and say, here is where the Yahoo was kicked out of his clan after a tribunal and left, and walked northeast. And this was approximately 46 hours ago. This footprint was made. And then the idea that, this thing could just walk right up to us and we would never know. We wouldn't smell it, hear it. We are totally blind out here.
At least they're honest in the second part. So they go looking and they find an apple storage building, which of course, as we've established, is Bigfoot paradise. And they even find proof we know Bigfoot's here eating these because we have found a half-eaten pumpkin.
They found a mushy pumpkin. That's a Bigfoot.
What? Why? We've said nothing but the word golden delicious apples up to this point. The fuck is the pumpkin?
You gotta use what you got. They found a mushy pumpkin. You're gonna say it is Bigfoot or not Bigfoot?
We intentionally kind of skimmed over a part here that if I taught a Hollywood improv class or an acting class to amateurs, I would clip this out and show it to them because there's a tortured stretch here where I think on 3 separate occasions they try to trigger an encounter and it just doesn't come off. Twice they ask Jeff if he has anything on thermal, and twice he says, "I don't see a thing, Trapper." No. And nothing. They hear like a thunk on like a metal, like an oil tanker or something in the middle of the woods, and they go up to it and it's nothing. And then finally they find a partially eaten pumpkin on the ground, which is not its food, and like, this is a Bigfoot pumpkin damage. It's very, I swear to God, you can sense Trapper himself detecting this is bad TV because you're going to see him try to like rescue it in a moment.
What was incredible? I think it's incredible that they go to the old standard and they're like, "Jeff, do you have anything on thermal?" No, that's not enough we're not getting it started yet. They find an old oil tank. Buck climbs on top of it and surveys like, Buck has climbed something. But that's not easy for Buck. Buck climbed like this rickety old oil tank. He's on top of it in this very dramatic pose looking around. And what does he do? He says, it's nothing. What? But the thing that kicks it off, we're like, the pumpkin. Now we're going. I found a pumpkin.
I also really like that this is a stealth mission at this point. They're like, we got to sneak. We got to be careful. But they have 11 flashlights pointing in every direction. They're shouting at each other. They stop a couple of times to film testimonials where they loudly scream at a camera. It's not very stealthy, I guess is the point. The apple storage cracked me up too because they saw the building. They're like, apple orchard. That building must be used to store apples. My God. Think of all the apples that must be in there. Dear God, that's what Bigfoot eats. Like the chain of events.
All the golden delicious apples.
Yes, of course. Sorry for not specifying the apples and rendering Jeff's job useless this episode. Golden
delicious apples did not give them $400 for this product placement to be skipped over and called mere apples. Yeah, so they go into the apple storage and they have to investigate a noise they heard, and some crates are jostled nearby, and that's enough for them to just nearly murder each other with shotguns. I don't know why I even mentioned that anymore. You assume that. And what this monster Bigfoot does when he's caught eating apples is he runs away like a frightened raccoon. He sprints out of there. And this, Trapper nearly dies from this. He delivers this fucking unhinged rant to the camera about, my heart is racing. My adrenaline is pumping throughout my body. I am ready for a fight right here and now. He ate apples and ran away. That's all he's done.
But Trapper is trying to bring up the energy of this episode. Mm-hmm. You can see him. He is acting his ass off. And yes, by the way, for the drinking game, they shout, he's running out the back, and then immediately, look, he knocked over these apples, and instead of pursuing him out the back, they all gather round to look at the spilled crate of apples.
Golden delicious apples. Look at these golden delicious apples. How could he leave these behind? They're chock full of nutrients.
They gave him superpowers. Eating these apples has made him too strong for us to. But it's that thing where they stop and are amazed at the detritus left behind of the creature that could be right outside the door for all they know. It could have just went around to the corner. It could be standing right there. But it's like, look, apples.
He left behind his precious apples. That's literally all he's done is flee and eat apples. This is the least threat anything has posed. This is the fucking Trix rabbit.
But Trapper is having a full-on adrenaline rush. There's a line
he's
I
losing
loved where he
his
goes,
goddamn mind.
"My heart is just beating. Oh, I can smell him." He's just he doesn't even know how to handle this. But I don't even think there's a word for courage this mighty. I mean, he's ready to fight a Bigfoot that he made up. And if he was there and hadn't left, he would have fought him if he just hadn't done nothing and then again left. Oh.
So they do find the apples are very important, and I've written down the entire exchange because it's so bizarre. Here it is in totality. Trapper says, "Look here, look right there, look here, right there, look right there." And then the camera pans to what he's freaking out about, and it's the pile of apples. To which Huckleberry says, "Oh, hell yeah." Huckleberry, did you just hell yeah apples?
Free pile of apples.
Buck chimes in with, "He was right here eating apples." And Trapper goes, "That's what he was doing. He was right here eating apples." And then we cut to a testimonial where Buck says, that Bigfoot was inside eating. He stole a crate of apples.
He didn't, though.
What the fuck is happening in this episode?
Again, just in case any of the listeners have lost track, when they say he was right here eating apples, they don't mean they discovered something he was doing the day before. They mean 10 seconds ago, they were in the building when the crates of apples were knocked over. They were in the building with it. It is now no more than 10 feet away while they were shouting over this crate of apples. It is marvelous.
Okay, so Trapper's just so pissed at this Bigfoot. So he gives like the fucking halftime speech to everybody. He's like, they're rallying. They're going to go kill that fucking Bigfoot. And they start waddling outside. And I wrote down in my notes, well, they're never going to catch the Bigfoot at that speed. And in fact, they're not even going after the Bigfoot. They are going home. They're like,
it is
great night, fellas.
It is wonderful because Trapper screams, "This thing got away from us. We're going to hammer this son of a bitch this year. If that don't make you love our job, nothing will. Nothing." They all start screaming, chanting things like, "Let's get this son of a bitch. Let's go. Let's go." And then they all just quietly go home.
Quietly waddle home.
And again, I just want to stress, all that's been harmed here are apples. Like if you replaced apples with children's entrails, this would be an appropriate response. But for it to be apples is insane. We've already hit the point where I feel like I've said apples too many times, and it's lost all meaning.
Golden delicious apples, to be clear.
Golden delicious apples. I feel like I've taken massive head trauma
after
seeing a golden delicious apple, and this is just how I interpret the world now.
Yeah.
What I'm about to say is going to be a very deep cut for some of our listeners, and it's going to be a very familiar reference for others. But this is starting to have the vibe of one of those Marvel superhero Hostess fruit pie ads, where they've had to write a plot around the delicious Hostess apple pie that's been stolen by Lex Luthor, and they have to keep working in the product placement. So the energy of the adventure does not match the crime that's been committed, which is that Dr. Doom has stolen 4 cherry Hostess pies from somebody.
Right.
Yeah. That has to be what this literally is. I won't accept another explanation. Golden delicious apples.
That's gotta be it.
Let's get in on this.
Jeff was looking up Clay County, accidentally went to SeanBaby.com, and he's like, Hostess fruit pies. Trapper, come on, I got an idea. We got to do a show like these. These are fantastic.
Look at the stakes in every one. All right, so we're going to Wild Bill and Willie's Crackhead Trap Shack. They need an extra strong trap now because the last time they fought the Yahoo destroyed Willie's trap. Oh, who could have foreseen?
Well, now hold on. Do you guys remember the trap they did for the Yahoo last time? Not in the finale, but the first time they faced him?
No.
What was the first time?
It was that stupid trap where they laid one log along the ground and then propped a second log up on a stick. And the idea was that it would grab like a piece of fruit or something, and the second log would come down and break its arm and pin its arm there. And then that would trap it until they came along and did.
Yep. log on a stick. It's got to be his worst trap. And they're like, no, it didn't work because it wasn't strong enough. And now he's powered up on healthy, golden, delicious apple energy. He's going to be so much stronger. So Wild Bill rolls up late and he says, I got the old higgamajigger thingamadoo higgybob. I just want everyone at home, I want to pause. Can you guess what he might be referring to? Just guess what he brought in. Take this time to guess. That's right, you got it right. It's an old-timey E-Stim workout box, like put on the electrodes and it will work out your muscles. That's what he brought. It's got 4 little electrode pads that old ladies put on because they're too tired to do sit-ups. That's what he brought. I want you to keep that in mind.
That should do it.
It is a novelty exercise gimmick, is what he brought. So Willie says, last time he destroyed our trap, so I'm building it bigger, stronger, and this time, I'm adding electric. It's gonna have electric in it.
This is probably the most, I guess, effective trap that they've ever done. It's just a giant prison cell that's electrified. I don't know why they have a second trap if this has any prayer of working, I guess.
It's a big metal box that they're going to run, again, a novelty E-Stim machine through.
Okay, now you're incorrect about that. For the real trap, they're going to use they've got like a generator. This E-Stim muscle thing is purely for the comedy bit they're about to do, because it is because they take turns shocking each other with this thing, and from that, Willie is going to look into the camera and say, we now know that electricity will work because we have found out that electricity hurts.
Sure.
This was purely a demonstration that electricity hurts, and it said, yes, that's a good idea. Let's apply more electricity to our trap.
I thought they hooked this up to like the box to like amplify it, but maybe I'm wrong. I like what he brought in for the cage, because they've been going all out on these like little scale models of the traps they build, and this time he brought in like a pet rabbit travel crate, like just a pre-built little animal cage. And he's like, that's what I'm going to build. It's just one of these. I mean, he's right, but Adorable. This is very diminishing. This is the last thing I would bring in, because it makes you look really bad in the performance review. So Wild Bill is selling the electric shocks. He's just, oh yeah, Schwarp. He's just going fucking nuts, because everybody, I think you're right. I think everybody knows they're in a lot of trouble in this episode. And like, everybody's just hamming it up to 1,000%. And he's like, he's giving every single face. Willie pretends to get electrocuted and he says, Jeezy Wheezy, which, I don't know what that is. Is that your new catchphrase? Are we shooting for something there?
You're just trying for it.
Also clear that this thing is not on, right? Like they're faking this, right?
No.
They don't have it turned on.
Because if this was turned on, I'm sure a lot of people like me have messed around with them. Their electrical impulses so mild that you don't really notice them. That's actually what it's designed to do, right. Is be like, oh, this doesn't feel bad. Like, I don't even notice this.
Yeah, it makes your muscles jump a little.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's not even it's a novelty shock. And they're reacting like it's an electric fence. And Wild Bill at one point he's trying to mime getting electrocuted, but then they cut to his close up and he goes cross-eyed and kind of sticks his mouth out a little bit, and he's doing the exact face that you would do to make like an orgasm in a Mel Brooks movie. He's just
I think that's $1 in the bucket.
All right. God damn it, I hate this system. I'm going to be so broke by the end of this. Everything's so tortured in this episode. They're trying so hard and nothing is taking. So it's time to meet our second witness, George, who does have the decency to wear a camo baseball cap. He's out here standing in the middle of his field, which is where he was born and where he will die. He's going to give he's got one Bigfoot quest to hand out to these 4 hillbillies. And so he was here 3 weeks ago, he was in his deer blind. He saw a deer come in, get spooked by something, and run away. And that something was a Bigfoot, which also ran away.
All this guy needs, after they've talked to the first witness, all they need from this guy, all they need is for him to say he heard the sound. So no matter what else happens this interview, the one thing they need is him to say, because again, the episode, like this is the Yahoo they're hunting. We're now, like a third of the way through the episode. Surely, I mean, I think this is the last witness, so surely...
Or I will give them an alternate. You can say, he can do two things. He can say, okay, I heard the sound, we know what we're dealing with now. Or he can say, I saw him take all of those apples and throw them at children. We have to stop him. Like, you do something. You need to add stakes or you need to add identity to him. And he does neither.
Yeah. What this guy did, he is leading them to the conclusion that there's something mysterious out in these woods. But, like, they open the conversation with, hey, we're out here looking for a specific Bigfoot called the Yahoo, and we heard you saw him. He's like, yep. Totally. But then he still goes through the storytelling process of like, there it was in the woods. I heard a strange sound, a strange alert on my camera, a strange shape. And it's like, buddy, fucking skip to the Bigfoot. Do you think you're writing a mystery? Everyone here knows that you're going to get to Bigfoot. Why are you playing these games? These people have fought 7 different clans of Bigfoots and all of their monster armies.
He's acting like he thinks he might be the first witness. I think they might have bumped him.
Yeah, you might be right.
I think he got bumped. I think he got bumped like he was on Letterman and they were running long. They're just, nah, you'll go in at the end. So
he does
he's got
eventually,
a picture.
Gets to the trail camera picture, yeah.
He's got a trail camera picture, and it's kind of nothing, but what they do with it is incredible. They look at it and say, hold on, what's that on its back? Is that a little one on top of the big one? It's a fucking Bigfoot Master Blaster.
That's exactly what it is.
No, it's a baby. They say it's a baby, but that's almost more magical that their babies ride around on their backs.
It's like, so excellent.
Like possums.
Yeah. And then Trapper says they've never had a photo of a young Bigfoot. And then he tells the camera with full confidence, they're born at 40 or 50 pounds and they stay with their mother until they're 12 or 15. That's a lot of great guesses. He's probably right. I mean, I can
tell. He can tell from the tracks. I can tell that this Bigfoot is going to be around until at least 15.
It's like, this is the first evidence anyone's ever found about it. Also, here's a bunch of fun facts that you...
Says based on the photo that he believes that baby's probably 4 to 5 years old. Like, what?
What?
Yeah, it's great. The whole thing is great.
It is literally the first time any human has seen one, and he is already making shit up about it.
Huckleberry is the only one who does the right thing here when he tries to add stakes. He does add them in the wrong direction. He says it's more dangerous now because the Bigfoot is trying to protect her child. And that's a problem because, again, we're going to murder them for eating apples. Right? Yeah, the Bigfoot's more dangerous if you go after it for no reason, for no established reason. I love how bad they're fucking this up on this one.
And the guy does not hear it say Yahoo. So now we are very far into the episode, and it's not even clear why they made the trip. Why did they think there was a Yahoo out here? They've talked to both of their witnesses. Neither of them heard it say Yahoo. They're just describing, they're not even specifying size and color that defines it as being a Yahoo. Like, it's just general Bigfoot dimensions. Everybody's just saying, well, it's dark and probably 7, 8 feet tall. It's just Bigfoot stuff.
Wrong size, wrong color, wrong sound. But
nobody had it throw a log at them, right?
Nobody's throwing, and also no
attack from the truck briefing.
And also a Bigfoot Master Blaster. I mean, that was never established for the Yahoo. This could be a whole different kind.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? Why don't you call this episode the Master Blaster Yahoo of Clay County? That's an episode that's gonna have energy from the first minute.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah! There's a little Bigfoot that controls the big, stronger Bigfoot. Yeah, I'm all the way on board for that. So we check in with the Trap Shack real quick. They're looking for a place to build the trap, and they try to pull a trapper where they're like, oh, I found a single broken stick. This is a Bigfoot highway. This is the only way they come. They can't sell it. They can't sell it like Trapper. The man's got a gift. I mean, he really is. So they build their Bigfoot travel crate here. I did not have any antics worth reporting. Did you guys?
No, I skipped right to the 2 food sources, which I'm sure blew everybody's mind. Trapper explains that the Bigfoot family has 2 food sources, the apple orchard that they were just at, and then this pile of apples that they found. And when those are gone, they'll only have the food that they put in the trap, which is, I guess it's a lot like saying, we're going to trap the Bigfoot in a void by closing our eyes so nothing exists. Then we'll make our way to him using a quick game of peekaboo. As long as we get our eyes closed in time, he and all the ground around him will vanish. My friend is named Jeff, which means all friends are named Jeff, and they fucking suck.
I do want to call out this. There is an actual interesting piece of tool safety that gets mentioned here. Because there's a moment where Wild Bill he's using a screwdriver with a rubber handle, and he's hitting it not with a mallet, but with a hammer, like a claw hammer, and it destroys the handle. This is something that's a mistake I've seen on job sites before. So like when he does it, he says, Willie, man, I'm just pecking real easy on this, and it busted. And then Willie says, man, you're hard on my equipment.
That's $1 in the bucket.
Yeah, you will. Well, no, that you can destroy a screwdriver that way. Use a rubber mallet if you're trying to drive it into something, which you shouldn't be using it as like a chisel, but it's just, but anyway, yeah, nothing else. The only other thing to mention is when they build their trap, much of it is made out of wood. So in terms
Yes.
of the electrification of the trap, I don't know if there's any science experts listening, would that impede the conductivity of?
It won't conduct the electricity, but if it's touching the metal, I don't think it will ground it.
It'll give him a little thrill. It'll give him a little, ooh.
Ooh, what's this?
Ooh. So now we're doing a daytime scouting mission, which is kind of the new thing we do instead of the third witness. I think that's because they are getting like the production notes that we leave them through time that float down from the sky on rainbow snowflakes. Only they're like incomplete. So they've realized at this point in the show, the third witness is always useless. It doesn't do anything. It just repeats or sometimes even takes away. So we need to up the stakes somehow. And what they do is now repeat the first phase of the investigation, but in the daytime and for less reason.
Yeah, this was weird. Another thing that's weird I have in my notes, there's a lot of wordless longing. And I know I need to put $1 in the bucket for this, but like, they just sort of, one guy will say something, and instead of like yes-anding it, they'll just kind of look at him like they're falling in love. And I was like, what is going on this episode?
Well, let's go over what they say, because they're just walking in silence, and Huckleberry out of nowhere says, I wonder if Bigfeet have hairy nipples. Like, that's just what he's thinking about. It's just like, it's been 5 minutes walking through the woods in quiet, and he's just like, I'm just going to say what's on my mind.
I'm going to tell you what I have in my notes after he said that. Trapper gasps at him. Like Trapper just
Trapper
open mouth gasps at this question.
What the fuck did you just do? That's just what he's always like. Wild Bill wants to carve up a piece and eat them, and Huckleberry does too, just in a different way. I didn't transcribe the rest of this conversation. I assume there's nothing further of note. I'm just going to move on.
You know what? I have a little.
Huh, that's weird. You do?
Well, after Jeff is happy to explain this, he's thought about this a lot. He didn't have to look this up on Wikipedia. He explains that lady apes have no chest hair. And so he thinks that Bigfoot has some sweet titties. That's not how he put it, but it's like the consensus that like when they meet this Bigfoot mother, it will be a very sexy experience. And Huckleberry keeps the sexual energy going. He says, Jeff, I thought Bigfoot had hairy nipples like you do. And Jason, I don't have anything after that. I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, that's well beyond when I stopped taking notes.
It's funny because up to now, this has been one of the lamest segments in an episode that they clearly is not working. Like they don't have another witness. There's Dad here looking around the woods some more. Trapper at one point is so desperate he shouts, "If there's one thing I love, it's hunting Bigfoot." There's something very desperate about it. So Huckleberry. You can see the gears turning. He's like, I need to switch this to Chandler Bing mode. I need to get some zingers out there. So he like teased this up and then, says, hell, Jeff, I figured this thing had hairy nipples just like you do. Jeff says, what? He says, I seen him. Then Jeff says, you've been watching over my shoulder in the shower too much. To which Huckleberry says, that's not because I wanted to. And they're spelling out a story where each piece of information they unveil just leads to many more questions. And then as they trail off into the distance says, it'd take a whole beehive of wax to wax them things.
So they have the one thing, perhaps the only thing they've established is, yes, they do shower together.
Right.
And not by choice. There was a point where he claims he was forced to shower with Jeff.
It might be a punishment. Like, oh, you're showering with Jeff for that.
God damn it. I think everyone needs to put in $2 to the bucket for that whole conversation.
We're gonna die destitute on the streets at the end of this episode.
It's just some normal nipple play talk from the old country boys on a Bigfoot hunt.
That crossed a line, Huckleberry. That was the chupacabra in the golf cart. You need to shower with Jeff.
Oh shit! All right, so they're tracking Bigfoot through the forest, and Trapper does his foot whispering. He uses a bunch of smudges to tell like a story of Bigfoot espionage. With his Bigfoot is leaping throughout and rolling and doing
you can detect
sweet
Bigfoot
kicks.
Speed from the smeared mud. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And we come upon another Bigfoot dream catcher out in the woods. That's just what they are. They keep finding them. This has been their trick the last few episodes. They will always... Now the big turn in the episode is we found Bigfoot woodcrafts. Like they watched Blair Witch and we're just like, oh, that's a cheap way to build tension. And Trapper spins it that, oh, this means, I know what this is. This is an alpha male, and he builds entire teepees to mark his Bigfoot territory.
It's amazing to like create a Blair Witch teepee language for Bigfoot that only he's heard about, but then he's also just kind of an amateur. He's like, I might be reading the teepee wrong, because he says that's what I think it is after every detail that he gives. He's like, it's an alpha male marking his territory. That's what I think anyway. It's like you're the only one who's ever seen this.
I guess maybe I'm off base here, but when I saw them stumble across the sticks leaning together in a triangle cone shape, I just imagined them like stomping around the woods, and it's like cold or whatever, and the episode's not working, and somebody finally saying, just lean some sticks together. Let's get let's just do this again, because again, it was just in the previous episode, I believe, where they came across such a structure, and then they all just came up with their own guesses as to what it could be. One thought it was a calendar, one thought it was a map, one thought it was a compass, one thought it was a ceremonial thing.
There's no real answer. That's the fun part.
And then Jeff even has this perfunctory, I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. It's like, okay, you've now seen 6 of them, I think.
It's also very clinically a teepee. Like, you've probably seen a teepee.
You guys found Bigfoot's grave and desecrated it.
It's true.
You can't sell a half a teepee, a half a fucking scout teepee.
Here's what I think is great is that Trapper improvs 2 very strange things where he says he doesn't want to leave his scent in the teepee, which I thought was pretty incredible, that like it was a territory marking, but now it's some sort of a sacred thing. And if a human scent gets within it, they'll be, I guess, marked forever for Bigfoot execution. And then he adds that it might not be a Yahoo clan. He's starting to get that like maybe this wrongly shaped, wrongly colored, wrongly sized, silent creature is not a Yahoo, but it is definitely a Bigfoot clan. This teepee demonstrates a community of Bigfoot to him.
It's a clan effort. One of them has not yet been ostracized from it, but will certainly.
Yeah, there's a sense of community to this Blair Witch teepee that indicates clan. A well-functioning clan where no one's been exiled.
So back over at the Trap Shack, the trap is built and the team has come to inspect it, which is a new bit we do that I really like. I love it. I especially love the bit where we have to see like the exact moment when Trapper's eyes light up at the trap, where he just goes like, "Oh my God, Willie!" And he has to just praise Willie's terrible traps like a really supportive father. Like, he comes up every day He comes over that hill, and he knows when he comes over that hill, he's going to see a box. He's going to see a box made out of some wood, and if he's lucky, metal. And still he goes, I'll be damned, Willie, and starts laughing like a maniac and high-fiving Willie, and just, what a good dad. What a good hillbilly dad.
For listeners, this is a box made out of old wooden beams, and then the walls are some extremely rusty pipes that they found in a junkyard somewhere.
I'm just going to double down. Powered by Grandma's exercise machine.
But Trapper has to test the electricity because he says, quote, I want to personally know that it will knock the dog bleep out of him. That it will knock the dog cum out of him.
Yeah, knock the dog cum out of him.
That's got to be. I actually, because I watch these on Amazon, I do get the uncensored version. And I can confirm it was dog cum.
He's so excited he's going to test the electricity, but then he loses his nerve and he says, I could just give orders and have one of you do it, which seems like tyrannical, but also like really overestimating the authority he has over this unpaid Bigfoot improv club. Like, give it a shot, Trapper. Tell these grown men to go touch electricity.
But also, Huckleberries just starts roasting him. Like telling him, like, take the boots off. You know, the Bigfoot's not going to be wearing no boots. And he's like, you can do it. Quote, latch on and grin.
But I guess that's Trapper this episode. He's completely amped and an absolute coward. Just like, I want to fucking do this. You know what? Maybe one of you guys should do it. In fact, I think I should tell one of you guys to do it. I don't want to touch it. I'm going to touch it.
So he does touch it, and he gets like a fun little zap and giggles and prances off. And before we get too far, do put $1 in the fuck jar for Latch On and Grin, Jason. Anyway, he giggles away, and that's it. They determine, that's going to stop a 1,000-pound enraged monster from escaping certain death.
A creature that has thick fur, by the way. So it definitely could not lower its shoulder and just knock over this box without getting shocked to any degree that it would even notice.
They bait the trap with fresh apples, which you could see coming. Fresh, delicious, golden delicious apples, and apple cider.
But also, they give credit to them because they realize that they are doing this in the middle of an apple orchard. So they have a line of dialogue, I swear to God, where they say that the guy they talked to earlier, who was the first witness, what was his name? Is that Al?
Al, yeah, Apple Farmer Al.
They mentioned that as part of this operation, Al went ahead and picked all of the other apples in the area so that the only remaining apples would be this box of apples in the trap.
It's incredible. They bought all 17 of West Virginia's remaining apples, famously Bigfoot's only food source, or maybe the Yahoos, if this is a Yahoo, or a family from a different clan. The point is, these men are dog shit stupid and are putting on a play for someone dumber than them.
I love what they've accidentally done here is confirmed. They're trying to sell, like, this is why our trap will work. What you've accidentally done is confirmed Bigfoot will only eat apples. There's absolutely no threat from him. We've established that. We know he's just an apple eater, and we're gonna fucking murder him. We're gonna electrocute the baby.
Let me tell you this. Think of it this way. Let's say this Bigfoot is not an herbivore. Let's say it's an omnivore. That means it would prefer meat. Because, right, that would be more nutrient dense. It means it eats vegetables and fruits because that's what's available. But if it had a chance to eat meat, it would do that. That would, that's got more good stuff in it. So if that were true, then the best bait would be some sort of fresh meat. Because screw these apples. There's a freaking deer carcass in here, freshly killed. Like, I'm going to go for that. That's marrow and fat and everything else. But no, it's an herbivore. It's a fruitarian. It only eats apples.
Right, because they didn't get $400 from the deer carcass industry. But yeah, no, there's another episode where they do. So we're into the night hunt. They split into teams. Buck is taking Jeff and Willie. They're going back to that deer stand. Trapper, Huckleberry, and Wild Bill are the other team in the pincer movement. And that's the dangerous configuration. That's the one, like, Trapper and Huckleberry are not fast enough to catch Wild Bill if he charges into traffic. Which is a danger when you're playing Bigfoot this close to traffic, because they're in the parking lot of this apple orchard, where like families unload the minivan.
Couple things to note. One, yeah, they switched up the teams. I think that's interesting. That's Colt Straub saying the energy is off. I want to mix up instead of doing the standard team, because normally it's Buck and the trap team. Like they split up the Willie and Wild Bill combo, but also when they all get together and Trapper really starts emphasizing, like he's trying to fire them up. He does like the pep talk and gets them to all start yelling like, yeah. And at this point, it's not clear. Hold on. Are they trying to catch the alpha male or the mother master blaster that has the baby on its back? And they get confused during the pep talk because Trapper says something like, let's get this son of a bitch, like emphasizing, let's get the dangerous one. And then Wild Bill yells, yeah, we'll put the whole family in there.
I love that they specifically, like, because your question when you're hearing this is like, okay, they now know there's the alpha, right? We did that for a reason. We established, what this stupid TP thing here does is there's an alpha, so we can go after that instead of the mother. And then they get confused somewhere and they're like, no, let's still kill the baby.
Yeah,
let's still electrocute the baby. That's what we're going after.
I think
that's an unforced error.
This plan they came up with, though, is pretty good, because what they're going to do is they're going to take one of the teams and they're going to put him at the deer stand, and then they're going to push the Bigfoot one direction, and then the other team is going to be in a different spot and push the Bigfoot the opposite direction. What you're considering as the trap is between those two teams, right? And with only all of West Virginia in those 179 degrees, and then all of West Virginia in the other 179 degrees, the Bigfoot, which is probably not a Yahoo, will have no choice but to eat the several apples in the electrified box, which is taking up all the remaining space and food in West Virginia. Do you see how it all comes together? It's kind of brilliant.
Yeah, because they did mention at the beginning of the episode that this thing has already migrated 40 miles to come to get these apples. So it clearly cannot migrate again. Like, that's all of the traveling it had in it. Now, I worry that some listeners, if this is their first episode, are saying, well, now, whoa, back up. The first time they investigated, they found a building in the orchard that was full of apples, and they found the Yahoo in that building. Why would they not just turn that building into a trap, like rig a door above like each of the exits there, so that when it comes back, which is a feeding location, it's a known feeding location, that they could then just trap it in there, and then like, there you go. Like, who cares that it may damage that building? It already goes in there. So, but you now have it. And I can see why you would ask that.
It's a good point. It is a very good point.
Just poison the apples. Am I the bad guy? Am I the bad guy here?
But see, they pitched that to the Golden Delicious Apple. People are like,
right.
No one. A Golden Delicious Apple would still be nutritious, even when poisoned.
We can't damage the brand. All right. So they're gonna lock and load because it's time to make some Bigfoot orphans.
God damn, the lock and load is so good here.
I just love that we're lock and loading for a mother and child. Like, all right. So Buck, Willie, and Jeff, I think. That's the other team. Buck, Willie, and Jeff find a snapped off tree, and they know that the Yahoos are locked and loaded now too. They got their ammo. Got their ammo up. So and the other team, Trapper, Huckleberry, and Wild Bill, are back at the apple storage buildings, and they say, we gotta take it real easy through here. And they hear a noise behind the crates, and Huckleberry's like, hold on, boys. Be ready. This is how it all started. Now, if you remember, what it was a Bigfoot eating some apples and running away.
Right.
This is how it all began.
It is crazy to think that he would come back here to feed because there's no food here. And it's even crazier that he did and he's here. And then it's even crazier that he just leaves.
It's a little bit crazier that he then runs straight back towards the other team.
Right. There's a shot here where the cameraman is walking in front of all their rifles to get like a shot of their panicked faces. And it kind of took me out of the reality of it because it's very clearly a guy with a camera walking in front of a bunch of guys aiming a shotgun at a Bigfoot.
And he is the Bigfoot. He's got a little post-it note on his head that says Bigfoot so they can track their cue. Meanwhile, Buck's team over by the deer stand comes across another Bigfoot dreamcatcher. This one's bigger, which means there's another alpha male who is also going to be upset when you kill his child. And suddenly they hear whistling. My God, we were all fools. This whole time trash talking, they were really setting it up like master storytellers to say, you see, they weren't hearing the Yahoo this whole time because it was actually the Midnight Whistler. So this wasn't
insane. An insane coincidence to meet up with the same Bigfoot they ran into in Kentucky.
It's also insane how this changes absolutely nothing.
No.
There's no difference between the two. They don't have different powers or weaknesses. They don't have different lore. They reveal like, oh my God, it's not the Bigfoot we thought. It's the other one that's exactly the same. Like, no, this doesn't change. This doesn't do anything. Oh, they both like apples.
This is a second alpha male, because both teams needed to have a teepee. They're like, it's not fair unless we both get an alpha male. So this could be a Whistler in addition to the Yahoo, who, if you remember, there's no evidence that it is a Yahoo. Sorry, I got really confused. I think I might. I don't think this show makes sense.
Well, and there's a wonderful little moment where I thought they were leading to, this baby Bigfoot has two alpha male parents.
Oh.
Because that's something really nice. That happens in Bigfoot society.
The Golden Delicious team would not have it.
Such representation.
No, sir. We're a purple state company. So you'll recognize, anyway, it's such a good rug pull. Like, we've given them so much shit up until this point for being like, why would you specifically say nobody has heard the Yahoo through here? It's definitely not the Yahoo. And then, it was all for a reason. So the one thing we know for sure now is that it would be crazy if there was a Yahoo here, because they'd never heard it, and it was actually the Midnight Whistler. I think that's really good storytelling that they chose to not portray the Yahoo at all. And as we continue watching this episode, we watch it with you. We're not done, watching. We just pause it every time we need to talk, and this takes 146 hours to record. We'll see. We'll find out together. But that's what I think is happening. So their new tactic is they start the pincer movement, panic, and then run back together again. Yes. That's their actual tactic every time.
It's every episode now. This is now the format.
You don't have to fuck yourself like this, because you had the pincer and that was like the one thing that you established. Well, at least that works. But now it falls apart as part of your plan.
As soon as they find a Bigfoot, they're like, forget the plan, which was, again, to find the Bigfoot. But now that we've found the Bigfoot, we've decided just panic and regroup.
Yeah, I don't know if we've made that clear. That they abandon the pincer movement when it's working exactly as it's supposed to. They're supposed to push the Bigfoot toward the trap. It's like, we've encountered the Bigfoot. This is all falling apart. It's like, no, that was the only reason you came out there in the middle of the night. You're pushing it. There it is. Push it toward the trap. Like that's, that's the whole thing.
I can't believe they innovated a new way to make themselves look like chumps. That's the only thing it's there to do. So Trapper's team comes to, well, not the rescue. They come to join the rest of the team in defeat. They merge up and all move toward the trap together, and they hear more whistling all around. So much whistling, it's like a woman walking by a construction site, right, guys? I can't take credit for that. That's a Huckleberry original.
It's a poor creative choice because they're trying to create this panic moment. This is like the aliens. They're in the walls or whatever scenes. Like, oh my gosh, they're in the ceiling. It's like, the whistling's all around, And then Huckleberry does a thing to camera where he's in Chandler Bing mode. We're hearing whistling sounds all around us. It's like a woman walking by a construction site. It's like, no, you're about to die.
It would be like stopping the movie and then showing a DVD extra of Michael Biehn saying, yeah, when we filmed that scene, we really thought there was aliens coming. I'm glad we got out of there. Okay, back to the movie.
Except for a little bing. He's banging.
Yeah, you're right. I should have given him a little wisecrack.
A tree falls somewhere near them, which they established was the Yahoo's behavior. Oh shit, the Yahoo is here too. They actually were fools the whole time. I'm sorry I gave them credit.
They re-fucked
up. They fixed it and then fucked it up again.
This is such chaos, too. Like, to their credit, there are trees falling all around them. They're all screaming. There's whistling everywhere. It is just for a few moments, I'm like, holy shit, the world is ending around these guys. And then
It's so good.
they keep cutting away for testimonials, like, all this is happening. And then here comes Huckleberry, like, we are currently being attacked by a cyclone of whistling invisible monsters. They're pushing trees down. I should get going. Like I said, we are being attacked by a hurricane of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Tsunami Foot, whatever you want to call it. Bye.
I think it's Wild Bill who shouts that he's enraged that the Midnight Whistler, which is from Kentucky, has no business being in their state of West Virginia.
Yeah,
so
he's anti-immigrant.
They have to put the smackdown on him. And I feel like this is not the first time that somebody on the team has implied that these creatures understand state lines. Right. And should be aware
cross
of them
illegally, as though there is a legal process for them to immigrate.
But they also do what is my favorite bit in the whole show, and I know I say that 3 times an episode about a different bit, but it's where a tree falls down, and this one knocks Trapper over. So they had Colt or Zach or somebody on the crew push a tiny little tree over, one that's small enough to be pushed over, and it knocks Trapper aside. Now, Trapper, therefore, was standing right next to this tree, right? 3 feet away from it. It's right there, which means the Yahoo, the thing that pushed the tree over, is also 3 feet away. And of course, the entire team gathers to examine the fallen tree. Look, he pushed a tree right over on Trapper. Look at this tree. Look at this tree he pushed over. This thing's 6 inches wide. Can you imagine how strong he must be to push over? It's like, okay. Again, this is,
he's over there blushing.
If you reach out your arm to the left, you will be touching the Yahoo's fur. It is within arm's length of you in the fiction of the show. Like, there's no getting around this. The stump of the tree is right there. You have pointed the camera at where the tree has pulled the dirt up out of the ground. Therefore, the thing, if you move the camera approximately 14 inches to the left, you will see the Yahoo's feet.
Well, we've established that they've left Zach to die so many times that he is now sabotaging the show. It's the only in-canon explanation. The scene is, I will give them, it's very action-packed. Like, for this thing, like, it really is true chaos. You have 2 different Bigfeet here. They didn't think to tell us what that means. Like, do they team up? Are they enemies? Are they fighting each other? We didn't bring that producer's note. You can only equip 2 producer buffs per episode, and we brought apples twice. So there's no room. There's no room for the other one. But one thing I loved in this scene that's kind of blink and you miss it is they're doing the whole Star Trek shaky set, and then we pretend to like move back and forth thing for a lot of this, as though the Earth itself is shaking from these big feet. And Jeff takes a stunt fall and he rolls backwards into a stationary tree. Like, not one of the trees that's pushed at them. He just rolls backwards too close to an actual tree and bashes the back of his head on it and goes, ah!
It's pretty bad. It's not a full $1 million baby, but it's like a $70,000 baby. He definitely peed his pants again.
The most dangerous thing they do, we've said it before, is just be gently active in the woods.
Yeah.
Like that, this team is in a lot of danger by being out here pretending. Like, that's real danger. They're in as much danger as a normal person would be if they were being attacked by a Bigfoot.
But also, normally, like when Trapper falls down, the entire team is like, Trapper, Trapper! Or when Willie gets yanked away by a Bigfoot, everybody springs into action. The camera watches Jeff bash his head against a trunk in such a manner that they should have stopped shooting the thing and said, whoa, it stopped, cut. Okay, Jeff. Instead, the camera just cuts away and they just keep, it's like, yeah, it's just one, Jeff is dead.
It's just Jeff.
Nobody
one of many things going on.
All Jeff can say from this point on is apples, and like, and it doesn't even deserve a comment. Huckleberry panics when in his testimonial. He says, "I don't know how many Bigfoots are in here, but this team's in a world of shit. Like it could be 1, it could be 0. It doesn't matter. We're in a world of shit." They send Willie off to rescue them in the Forest golf cart because he's the only one who can run that far. And they all pile in to just just flee in absolute cowardice, totally defeated. But they see headlights. There's another, presumably evil, forest golf cart out here.
It's a working apple orchard. Why would there be humans here? The only explanation is evil Ames team.
But what ensues is a full-on golf cart chase through the woods. And this is where, I swear to God, they got together as a team and said, look, we have 1 more hour of darkness to shoot out here. We've got to get something that makes this all worth it. And they're like, hey, get the other golf cart, and you're going to pretend to be our stalkers, and we're going to do a straight up golf cart chase through the woods. A goddamn speeder bike through indoor from Return of the Jedi chase, trees whipping by.
I just love that, of course, their evil counterparts would also have an evil golf cart.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It's fantastic. We really do a forest golf cart chase. They lose them very quickly, and they don't show them like doing a rad stunt or anything. They're just like, what the fuck? We lost him. So either they have cloaking technology, or they've found yet another way, another innovation to look wildly incompetent in this game of Bigfoot cart. So they all pile out and start screaming empty threats into a vacant lot where probably nobody is. It's a beautiful metaphor for toxic masculinity. It's great.
Wild It's just like an old man yelling at the knight that TP'd his house.
Uncle Barry screams, "You've been warned, boys! You've been warned!" No, they haven't. You never met them.
Yeah.
Wild Bill says, "You screwed up 2 hunts for us." That's not true.
No.
They did not interfere at all. That was all you.
Both times they found them while fleeing from their own mistakes.
Yes.
Also,
you witnessed 2 embarrassing things.
I'd like to add they didn't do anything. This is just a pair of headlights in the darkness. And they vowed to kill it. They're like, whoever that is, we've got to kill them. I just think this might be misplaced anger. Like all the shame and all the fears getting projected onto whoever dared exist somewhere nearby.
To that lovely family out here on an apple picking trip.
God, they lost so hard this episode.
Willie has the best threat because he sees everybody is threatening and he tries to join in the fun, and he says, "I'm telling you right now, I have your ass in a trap."
Again, for 0 crimes, he will imprison them.
It's the only thing he knows, man trapping.
Everybody's having to pull
I'll
out.
trap you.
Everybody's having to pull out their specialty, and Jeff's like, "Well, I'll research your ass," and Wild Bill's like, "I'll smoke you."
Jeff's over there going, "Apples, apples."
Blood running down his forehead.
Of all the coping, this episode had the best, where like they just lost a fight completely. All their information was wrong, and then this is the part of the episode where Trapper has to be like, here's what we did. And he's like, we got a picture of a Yahoo with a baby Bigfoot. We found a teepee. And like, no third thing.
They take credit for George's picture. They say, we got a picture? No, you didn't.
Nope.
George has that picture.
That guy who can't bring his son to his apple orchard anymore. I mean, I guess you stripped all of the apples from all the trees in West Virginia, so I guess he's out of danger because now there's just a starving clan of Yahoos out there instead of just a Yahoo. Now it's a hungry Yahoo that's going to have to resort to eating something else.
Oh, they can't. It's only golden delicious apples. That's the nutrients Bigfoot needs.
They straight up make it a plot point that it was too dangerous to go back to the electrified cage they left in the woods. They did not turn it off. They did not unplug it. It's just sitting out there waiting for some hunter, child, deer, anything to touch those bars and get electrocuted to death.
So they're trying to, this is the part where they try to claim victories. Sean said they've already claimed a few that were absolutely not victories. What Trapper says is that we have placed another piece of our puzzle in solving this mystery of Bigfoot in the Appalachian Mountains, and eventually we're going to tie every clan together. So, like, this has been his pet thing. He's been hinting at the grand unified Bigfoot theory for the last few episodes. It is now involving, also incorporating big feet are like natural boating creatures who go on these river cruises. Like this is now part of the Bigfoot grand unified theory. So I guess it's official that this is no longer about proving Bigfoot exists, which is how they start the intro of every episode in season 2. And that's fine because they started this season hunting chupacabras and just like ignoring their own premise change. But now in this ending, it's no longer about proving Bigfoot exists. We're now looking for like the fucking Bigfoot particle to tie it all together. It's what's incredible to me about all this is that usually when people say you're moving the goalposts, it's like a criticism of somebody doing that to you. Like, I can't get ahead because you keep moving the goalposts. Nobody says about themselves, I can't get ahead because I keep moving the goalposts. But that's what he's doing. This is the third time in this season he's moved the goalposts farther ahead, and they've never been in danger of meeting them even once. It's amazing how they are inventing new ways to fail.
I paused it here when he said they found another piece of the puzzle just to kind of wrap my thoughts around what had happened. And the thing in my notes I wrote is they were wrong about everything, lost a fight to nothing, took at least a year off Jeff's brain, and then vowed revenge against somebody unrelated who did nothing. Just because I wanted to like gather my thoughts and say like, what did they accomplish anything? And I'd like to think they didn't.
No, absolutely not. But what they did was they found several new ways to accomplish less. Like, they have invented new things that I think will carry on through the format, that they can fail in new ways now. And I think that's really the goal.
I'm going to spoil something for future episodes, the next couple episodes. I 100% believe that after this episode, they had a meeting and decided we can't have another episode like that. Because the next couple, they're going to crank things up quite a bit.
Yeah, this was a shit show. This was a Snallygaster level failure, and I love it for that.
Probably should not have been aired in retrospect.
Bill takes us out on a really weak joke where he says it could have been the USSRs out there watching us, and they all laugh. And then he says really woundedly, "No, I'm serious."
Yeah, he seems legitimately upset that they laughed at him.
I thought he was doing the bit, but he's like, no,
he was
come
not
on.
doing a bit. He said it could easily be somebody trying to espionage our hunts.
Espionage.
I like because they're laughing at Wild Bill, but like in the fiction of the show, there is a traveling circus of Bigfoot crime like following them, and a shadowy counter Bigfoot hunting team like just over the ridge. So like maybe they're not out of danger yet. But anyway, they're like, oh, let's take a bath together, boys.
It seems like a really kind of a wet fart to end the episode on is Bill pronouncing the word espionage wrong. So luckily, Jeff steps up and he puts his arms around all the rest of the crew and he says, apples. All right, what's our favorite quote? Let me go first. My favorite quote for this was... It was from Buck, and it was when he first saw the picture of the mama and the baby Bigfoot, and he says, George's photo was awesome. I never seen a baby Bigfoot before. Just so full of hope and joy. Just, look at the little guy. It's a really sweet moment. Sean, how about you?
Okay, this is going to surprise you, but my favorite quote comes from Jeff, and this is not an Apples joke. This is a real line he said. This is from early in the episode. He said this awesome shit. He went, Clay County was formed in 1858, out of Nicholas County and Braxton County. It was named after Henry Clay, U.S. Senator. Clay County was the first place that golden delicious apples were ever grown in West Virginia. By the Mullins family. They had an orchard down there in Clay County. I mean, to me, this was a bombshell. He went on the Clay County government page. He read us the first paragraph, what you'd expect, right? But then he skipped the geographic information. He skipped the census demographics. He jumped all the way to the third section, revealed the mystery of the Mullins family golden delicious orchard. He's a wild man, a master of hillbilly academia. That's my favorite quote.
Invaluable member of the team. Jason, how about you?
During one of the 6 or 7 moments when Trapper's trying to pump up the team and get the energy up, when he's shouting his various slogans, at one point he screams, "This is what we were put on this earth for!" And you know what? I 100%
Yeah.
agree with him. This show, like whatever else, and Trapper lived a long life. This is something he was doing in retirement. In fact, no, this is what he was put on Earth
This is
for.
his
This
legacy.
is what all of them were put on Earth for, was to make this show.
Because you have to be a Bigfoot teacher, you have to open up your mouth. You have to be a Bigfoot teacher. All your friends were so knocked out. You had to have the last word last night. You know what everything's about. You had to have the white hot spotlight. You have to be a Bigfoot light.